Okay, and welcome to Akbarapa, ladies and gentlemen. Today you have Campbell.
And TJ.
We're bringing you the best of the best, the creme de la creme, and many more things. Today's topic is kind of hot. It's kind of hot, and you know what? I had a conversation with a bro, a colleague at work. We're working together, and he basically confided in me, and he was telling me that look, there's this one girl he's going after, but she's kind of proving stubborn. And I said, you know what? Just be nice. Text her, talk to her. Don't try to be all
Told him to be
sophisticated.
nice.
Just be nice. Just be no, don't be a
Yes.
weirdo. That's all I'm
Don't
saying.
be a weirdo, but being nice doesn't usually work.
Right. So, but anyway, so I just tell him, look, just just text her, and he didn't get a response. He didn't get a reply. He was just left on red. Right. He just go ahead. So I had to give my boy.
Nah.
That's it. I had to give my boy some spiritual game. Yeah. So if you're listening to this, I don't want to mention his name, but if you're listening to this, bro, yeah, never get aired again. Right. So I'm kind of following the footsteps of my big bro TJ. I'm gonna try and have a presentation on,
For
and
those
we'll
of you
take it from
that
there.
don't know, last episode I was pregnant with new information,
That's it.
so I made a presentation using sort of a setup of images, and
That's it.
now it seems like Campbell is pregnant with information, and so here we are.
That's it, bro. That's it. Right. Never get aired again. So this is UK slang, and we're talking about when a guy texts a girl or is trying to reach out to a girl, hollering at a girl, and she basically gives him air. Her backhand, the back of her
Yeah,
head.
she they pull out a range of tricks and strategies in order to disgrace not disgrace to say no.
Exactly.
Sometimes nothing is said at all, you're just ignored.
Yeah.
I've had that in the street, in a club, in a bar, just look at you and as if you look through you like you don't exist. Sometimes it's through a text, they won't
But
reply.
yeah,
They'll leave it with leaving it on red. You can see that they've opened it and read it, but they
exactly.
don't respond. And then there's also the term nuclear rejection, where I mean, it happens to every guy at some point, where the rejection is so harsh, it's like you slap their mum and killed their dog,
Hey,
uh, yesterday.
I've never heard of nuclear rejection, but that must be that must be
I once heard a guy on when a nightclub is closing
right.
and guys are trying to talk to that girl that they've been maybe danced with or whatever in the evening. So the lights are on and there's a queue like for the coats to get your jackets and coats,
Okay,
and there's a bottleneck leaving. So we're all like walking really slowly out,
right.
and this guy kind of rushes to this girl. She was quite hot and says, "Hey, babe, like, can I get your number or whatever, whatever?" And it's really, there's a massive audience. The lights are on. He did it in front of everyone.
Right.
And she said, you're a scrub. You're the kind of guy that still lives at home with their mum
Hey,
and still sleeps in a single bed.
just like that.
Yeah, that was her. That was her loud. She said it so loud. It was like, ooh, just totally emasculating and belittling him.
Yawa.
Um, So that is nuclear rejection, and I'm sure every guy's had some version of that at some point in their life.
That guy is finished. There's no comeback from that.
No, there's no comeback. The only comeback is violence, and
Yeah, you
that's
can't.
unacceptable.
Yeah, exactly.
It's lose.
Wow. But why would a girl talk to a guy like that? Like, I find that so. Oh, anyway, it's not easy. It's not easy.
Maybe you're gonna give us some tidbits here in this. I'm so curious. Maybe you're gonna give us the knowledge so it doesn't
TJ,
happen.
I'm doing my best now.
Okay, I'm all ears.
This is all semen retention, TJ. We're talking about semen retention, sexual energy. Okay? This is, I think, and I have the receipts, okay, that this is all about compound semen retention, sexual energy, which a lot of guys
I'm
are
listening.
just
I'm listening.
depleting left and right. Okay,
Yes, I'm listening.
this is look, I became huge on this from 2018. Prior to 2018, this meant nothing to me. So for anyone listening, I wasn't born knowing this. I had to learn it the hard way, right? I had to, like, literally, TJ, I'm telling you, I was yeah, on the brink of, why is this girl why are girls just airing me? What's wrong with me? Like, why am I being put to the sidelines? And I think I said it in a previous episode about me trying to go out with this supervisor that I was working with, and
Trying
she,
to mix business and pleasure.
oh ma, I don't when there's nothing when it's time. I was trying my luck, TJ, and this girl literally friend zoned me. I couldn't. I didn't have, you know. I felt like the very oxygen was taken away from me, and this was reoccurring. That had been a pattern in my life for so long. Rejection, air. I'm not gonna give you my number. You're cute. We can stay friends. Come on, man. What's this about? So, you know, subconsciously I did something, and we talk about the subconscious quite a lot. For anyone listening, go and watch our previous episodes. We talk about archetypes and subconscious, what is common to the subconscious. Subconsciously, I did something which was, I took 6 months of my life. So after that rejection, that was so harsh that I said, you know what? I am going to build some next revenge body, and this girl is gonna want me. I want this girl drooling over me. I want this girl chasing me. Okay, how was I gonna do that? I had no idea. I'd seen this nowhere. I had no. This was back in 2015. Okay,
All right.
and I said, you know what? I really, I want these girls to desire me to the point where I just feel blessed by attention. But how was I going to achieve that? I didn't know how I was going to achieve that. I just had a subconscious desire to become, I wouldn't even put it as an alpha male, but I just wanted to be the top of the pyramid for one, at least for one summer. Come on, bro.
Ah,
So I signed up to the gym, and I was working out, TJ, twice a day. Sometimes I even do thrice a day. I have kind of a background in football. So, not professionally, but on amateur level. So, I know about isometric movements, about sprint, I know about explosions.
for our American friends, this is soccer, right?
Right, you're right. Yeah, we're talking about soccer. So, I was like, you know what? I'm going to compound, remix, put all of these things together. I want my love handles gone. I want my eight packs. I want my chest to be looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I want my butt to be so buff. Yeah, I don't look like Buff Daddy for that summer, bro.
You
And
oh you were thinking of your butt.
bro, because I know that's what girls love. Every time girls look at guys, they're like, look at his butt, look at his butt. It's got a juicy butt. So I said, you know, I'm going ham on those strings. I'm going ham on that those squats. I'm
I
going
didn't
ham.
know that. I never considered being my butt being the object of desire of a woman.
Then I don't, I'm not gonna speak for you, TJ, but I got
Have I been missing a trick?
I got to a level where that was some kind of obsession for these for these girl them, honestly.
Got to a level.
And I said, you know what? I want that. I want that cut. I want to look
See
prime
what
Campbell,
rejection does for you.
bro. Look, I'm telling you, I was suffering, man. So I signed up to the gym and I started my workout. Right, I was doing 3 days, 3 times a day. I was trying to do 3 days a week. Sometimes I'll do four. This was during work. Okay. So sometimes after work, I'll hit the gym and then go straight home on repeat, on repeat, on repeat. But while I was doing this, because this was taking up so much time from every other thing I was doing, I wasn't talking to no girl. I wasn't, reading no books. I wasn't doing nothing else apart from concentrating 100% of this extra time after work on myself. I didn't even have the time to consume porn. And look, we've talked about this in our previous episodes. Go and listen to them. I used to be a prime porn consumer. Like, I've got spare time. That's it. Is on. So during those days for six
So
months,
such was your focus.
bro, you know when you just get hurt and you're like, look, I was new to the UK. I'm seeing all this goodness around. I'm not even going for the top tier Amber Rose. I'm going for midway, and I just got rejection. I just got air. I said, nah, man, I'm better than this. I deserve more. I want to be popping this summer more. Nah, 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 nah. So I had to get my game on. And subconsciously, obviously, this decision was done with the aim of becoming prime Campbell Kids. But in effect, what I was doing was semen retention. I literally took out all of that distraction that was going into pornography, into desiring these other women, into trying to seek this attention. I took all of that out and I concentrated all of that energy and focus into myself. Now, in those 6 months, I did not consume. I don't know how I did it because this was all subconscious drive. Do you understand what I'm saying? I wasn't aware that I was consciously doing this. I was doing it with the aim of getting more more bread, more pussy. Do you understand? So I was having a subconscious drive, and bro. Anyway, we'll go into it, but everything was rotating around my semen retention. Now, what is semen? Yeah, because there is a lot of beliefs here and there. Some people even say, look, retaining semen is actually bad for the sexual glands. Some people say retaining semen is a sexual dysfunction, and some people say they develop blue balls when they when they accumulate all this stuff for even 7 days. Okay, so what is all this about? What is semen? So now, semen is a separate liquid which has very much of its everything that composes the seminal fluid has a lot in common with the brain tissues. Okay, and these are composed of different elements. So zinc, some fructose, You've got phosphorus in there. You've got elements of testosterone in there. So basically, the building blocks of the human tissue. Okay. So that is semen. That is, the juice in which the spermatozoa need to survive. They survive in this fluid when they're in the urethra, when they're in the vulva, trying to create a baby. Okay.
Yeah.
So the spermatozoa, so in the seminal fluids, the sperms make up only 10% of this fluid. The remaining 90% is all these vitamins, all these elements, and all these nutrients that I talked about. I don't want to make this presentation too boring, so I'll just talk about this stuff, glance over it, and then try to bring out the most important things that I think you and I can bounce off and our listeners can definitely, benefit from.
Well, I would just like to say that I didn't realize for years and years, and ignorance, that sort of sperm and semen were not sort of one and the same.
Right,
So just to clarify, you produce sperm, and there is a fluid called semen that is the delivery part of the delivery method.
right, yeah,
So sperm is created over here, semen is created over there.
yeah.
They're joined together and then ejaculated when the man uh,
Has
orgasm.
his right, yeah, that's what happens. So to boil it down, what really happens is this. There's a part that is produced in the brain just below the cranium, okay, and that part of the brain is called the hypothalamus. All right, and the specific gland that produces this fluid, the seminal fluid, a component of the seminal fluid is the pituitary gland. Okay, this is the gland that produces most of the hormones that literally communicate in our body. Basically, hormones are the messengers within our body. They tell the body, fight or flight, reward, sleep, melatonin, serotonin, oxytocin, all these things. These are all hormones. And these are produced by this specific gland, the pituitary gland. Okay, so now what happens in this instance that there is a production from above. So this is all esoteric stuff that is also given to us from the Bible. Okay, as in the vertebra, Jacob's ladder, the age of Jesus. It's like knowledge that has always been there. Okay, so
So this is hidden in plain sight in the Bible.
there you go. It's hidden in plain sight. Right.
So when we're talking about certain things, it could marry up with the concept of semen retention in the
Exactly. Exactly.
when you investigate it deeply.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
So this is produced by the pituitary gland, and there's a canal that runs down your spine, straight from the base of your cranium, right? And some people call it the claustrum. So Santa Claus bringing down gifts through your chimney. Yeah, so it's
Right.
called the claustrum, and the oil that this pituitary gland, basically, the ancients will call it oil, but it's basically hormones, and the fluid that would compose the seminal fluid would then come down this claustrum, and then this will come and join what you now produce from your testicles. Okay, and they would all join in your hip area. Now,
Okay.
when this is produced in your hip area, some people get excited, horny, and they can't keep it, right? And they emit it. So men have this this higher drive, okay, which is to reproduce. That's the essence of life, okay. On a lower level, you need to reproduce, okay. On a higher level, we have to self-actualize. So those who are still on that lower level that just need to reproduce, you are constantly depleting this source of energy, okay. The Chinese called it the yin coming from the top and the yang coming from below, which then joins up together to produce this balance. And in their philosophy, this was not meant to be depleted. You were meant to hold on to this life force, to semen, to this energy, right? So I'll continue my train of thought. You know, there's guys who are ejaculating basically every day, either through sexual intercourse or masturbation, and mate, yeah, you're doing. I mean, I'm not gonna say because I did it for a very long time, but I'm just gonna say you need to rethink these habits because they're detrimental. Okay.
Okay, break it down. Break it down.
So, uh, semen, energy, testosterone, sex drive, ambition, sex, money, power, and influence. Okay, so we can see we've been talking about Maslow's pyramid of needs, hierarchy of needs, and I just saw this one. And I said, look, I need to bring this out because it's gonna be very, very put powerful for our listeners. Okay, so what happens is we have biological needs, right?
Right.
And semen is produced for to house these spermatozoa, but whatever you don't waste goes back to nourish the body. Okay, so now I'm not gonna bore anyone, but in Ayurvedic medicine, this is Indian kind of spiritual medicinal practices. It also goes back to the Tao Ching. But most interestingly, this also has a correlation because we've been trying to introduce African spirituality a lot. This also goes down to African spirituality and basically holding down your semen, yeah, creates a rhythm in your body every 30 days. Okay, and the cycle is seven. Okay, the semen cycle is basically seven. From whatever you eat, this now nourishes your blood. Okay, now the third cycle would go onto your muscles, then into your bones, then into your fatty tissues, then into your marrow, and then it nourishes a thing that the Indians call the doja. A doja will be like your spiritual energy. Okay.
Right.
So now how does this happen? Because we kind of throw in a lot of things, a lot of concepts here and there.
I
And
have a question.
oh, you're allowed to go on.
I just want to make sure I'm understanding.
Right.
So, according to this information,
Yeah.
your when you perform semen retention
Mm-hmm.
and you don't let your seed go,
Yeah.
there is a buildup of, should we say, nutrients.
There is a build-up of semen.
There's a buildup of semen, but
Yeah.
how did we get to the part where you said there are it's there's stuff distributed to the body?
Right. So
I'm not clear on that. If you could repeat it.
right. So basically, semen is made up of different elements. Okay, which
Yes.
are I was gonna name them, but I don't wanna like take it off the conversation. But basically, all these elements come from what you ingest.
Okay.
Okay, so your nutrients.
And this stuff is found in the semen, in the fluid.
Exactly. They go on to feed, they go on to produce semen. Now, semen is not just produced, like we said before, just in your testicles. It's also produced by your pituitary gland, which is in your hypothalamus, in your brain,
Right.
right? It's also called the endocrine system,
Mhm.
all right? And obviously, the endocrine system is fed by, whatever you eat. Your magnesium, your phosphorus, potassium, all of that stuff. You get it from food. So now in Indian medicine, it is believed that and all of these things, because it's on the spiritual conversation of it, there's the scientific version of it, but the spiritual conversation of it, because I'm just finding gurus, I didn't want to bring them on and then make the whole thing boring. But what happens is that they believe that there are 7 cycles, okay, to go through onto having this spiritual enlightenment. And every cycle brings more and more spiritual gifts,
So
right?
are the cycles like 30 days is one cycle, or where? How are these cycles?
That's it.
Where?
That's it. You nailed it. It's 30 days. In 30 days, your semen nourishes your spiritual body. Let's put it quote unquote, like your spiritual aura. So in Ayurvedic belief, after 30 days, if you've held on, if you've retained your semen, you glow. All right. So every 30 days, you have a different glow to you. I haven't gone that far consciously. Okay. Oh,
Right.
subconsciously, I've been able to do 9 months, but it was under normal, under different circumstances. Sorry, I was going through something else. So
Right.
I just, yeah. But I wasn't even aware of these concepts. But now, right, it's different, different, different. So what happens is that every 30 days, this semen goes into your marrow, and then from your marrow, it nourishes what the Indians will call dosha. It's spelled Dosha, and your dosha would basically be that thing that is unique to you, something that is just like your spiritual energy. That thing that maybe you walk into a room and everyone is like, "Yo, TJ is that guy." I don't know, the one that is charismatic, intelligent, etc. That kind of energy. Do you get what I mean?
Right.
Okay, so there is a scientific explanation to that, and that is because of phosphorus. Okay, now semen is rich, it has many elements, but it's basically rich in phosphorus, zinc, and testosterone, right? Phosphorus, basically, this is the symbol of phosphorus, by the way, according to alchemists. And they were fascinated by it. And they say because it seemed capable of holding light. The white form of the element oxidizes in air, appearing to glow green in the dark. Another interesting property of phosphorus is its ability to burn in the air, right? So I found this and I said, you know what, I need to put this up because no one is going to believe me. Phosphorus is an element that can be synthetically produced in the lab, or you can have it in various foods like broccolis contain phosphorus, certain meats contain phosphorus. This element is then stored up in your body and goes on to feed your semen. Now, it makes sense if you're holding on to this, which is in abundance in the semen. Okay, if we were to separate the semen in 3 equal parts, 1/3 will be phosphorus, right?
Okay.
So now holding on to this, just I mean, reading it, they're saying it's capable of holding light, which then would make sense. After 30 days, you glow up.
Okay.
There's another explanation, another scientific explanation to this, which is phosphorus enables the synapses between your neurons in your brain. So it makes communication between, the various pathways, the neural pathways, easier and quicker. So you have clarity of thought. You seem to have a better memory. What again? I mean, your skin is just popping, yo, and And going back to my story, when I did those 6 months, yeah, TJ, I come on, the comments I got for that summer, I was actually impressed. I was actually impressed. I was really happy with myself. I was subconscious of all this, but I got attention from that manager. I got attention from her friends. I got attention from other girls that were moving on. I was ripped, and now we'll go on to the next element, the next, component of semen, which is testosterone. This is the male hormone. If you're not depleting all of that juice every night, every day, every weekend, right? This builds up, and we know the benefits of testosterone. This is the male drive hormone, the one that makes you go out and be ambitious in the world, right?
Right.
So this is exactly what was happening to me. Back then, in those 6 months, I had built up so much testosterone, TJ, that even at work, yeah, the hunger in me to conquer, I felt so strong. I signed up to Tinder, I signed up to Badu, I signed up to every dating app, TJ, and I was getting swipes, bro. I said, you know what? This is gonna be a sweet summer. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, testosterone is unique. So there are various quantities in women as well, but it's mostly found in men. And
Okay.
do women are women able to smell if a man has high levels of testosterone? And I think the
I,
answer is yes.
I don't know if they can smell, but there is definitely pheromones and um. Also, I know that there's been a scientific experiment where women were given men's clothes,
Yeah,
t-shirts
yeah.
after they worked out, after they'd done a workout, and um, I think the result was that some women,
They could even tell if how the man looked like, if he was attractive. Was that the experiment?
yeah, but I think the result was some women found some men repulsive,
Yeah,
and some women found some men attractive.
right.
And there was a correlation with their testosterone and also the difference in ethnicity, if I remember correctly. So
Mm,
what they were trying to say was that we are programmed to want to um, spread our genes to, so you're basically, we are adverse to continuously reproducing with our own tribe.
right,
So the
right.
women would find, yeah, they would like find attraction. If it was like someone genetically close to them,
Yeah.
they're more likely to find that repelling, something
Mm.
like that.
So
Anyway, I know that the testosterone levels were part of what they were able to ascertain was correlated to the smell and how women were didn't like the smell or like the smell of men's sweat after a workout.
So I have also heard of another experiment where testosterone was sprayed into a male's and a female's bathroom. Okay,
Right.
and when the men, and I don't want to go into whether straight or bi or gay, but when these men went into the male bathroom and they smelled testosterone, it was repulsive. So they couldn't, it was like, Jesus Christ, what's going on here? It smells odd. On the other side, when the women went into the women's bathroom where there was testosterone spray there, their breasts grew bigger. It's kind of they were ready to mate. They could
Wow.
smell that there was something in that room about to tear them up, right? And this is what we're talking about. If I was depleting all that energy, how on earth was I going to build up testosterone to then nourish my muscles? Because testosterone is a major component. This is down your alley, a major component in muscle building. It helps in increasing like lean muscle, getting rid of excessive fat. And how was I going to do that? Obviously, I didn't know this. So my life was just hard. And I can imagine guys out there that, they're just trying to reach out to girls. You're just trying to talk to girls. But last night you were in a party and you were fucking, you were coming all over the place. And then today you want to be on the next girl. You understand? She's not feeling anything major in you. You haven't had enough time to build up that sexual energy where she's just swept off her feet. And my people perish because of lack of knowledge, man. This is for me. I don't know if I don't know who I'm talking to, but for me, this was game changing. I mean, the way I embraced this philosophy, because I really had a hard time, mate, trying to get trying to get girls. I really had a hard time. And from very young, I was introduced to pornography. So just and when you're a child, you're trying to reach your limits. You want to know what the limit is. I I reached my limit, and I couldn't understand why girls were repulsed by me. They couldn't look at me. I was yeah, it was really sad times. But look at this. Just going 1 week, the benefits of going just 1 week on semen retention increases testosterone by 10 to 15%.
Wow.
Just 1 week, 7 days, Monday to Sunday. Bro. Anyway, let's go on. Let's go on.
It's
So,
crazy.
this gentleman here, Charles Edward Brown Sekar, the Mauritian. So, shall we say an African?
Yes, he's African.
And he basically did experiments with testosterone where he would inject the liquid. Basically, he would take liquid from the scrotum of dogs and guinea pigs and inject it into his arms. And we know, the scrotum is the powerhouse of testosterone. Now, it's a bit more complicated because testosterone is also useful in the production of spermatozoa. They kind of break down cholesterol. That is more on a scientific part, but these are all housed in the scrotum. This will be colloquially known as the balls. Yeah. So he basically injected this juice into his arms, and he figured out that he had more strength. So then they renamed testosterone the elixir of life, right? So it just basically made me think, and I was just saying, why isn't this information so accessible to younger people? Because we see how easy it is to access pornography, social media entertainment, girls twerking, and all of that stuff. It's so easy, but finding out this kind of stuff that makes you stronger, that makes you, I don't know, I had to go down a rabbit hole to find all of this information. It wasn't directly
So,
accessible to me.
so you're saying that this you're saying that the understanding of the fact that there's a very simple way that all of us right now could, if we desired, boost our testosterone,
Yeah,
and it's not widespread knowledge,
that's it.
Um, and it's like very simply and easily within our reach just by doing a simple act of basically semen retention for even 7 days.
I mean, ideally, you want to go past 7 days because within those 7 days, all you're nourishing is your blood. So it's just enough. I don't have the days quite accurate. I couldn't find any source for that. But if the cycle is 7, and the first cycle of semen, retention just nourishes your blood, the second cycle nourishes your muscles, and etc. You would just notice a major improvement in your muscle tissue, or maybe your blood, flow or something like that. For you to now reach the levels where you now feel like buff daddy, yeah,
Mhm.
you need to go past 30 days.
I mean, I wish that I had the sort of willpower to do that, but the truth is, I just don't. And it's something that we've talked about before.
Yeah,
Um, that like the last time I was seeing someone, um, I I told her
yeah,
that I would not be engaging in pornography,
right.
um, because I think it took away from our actual sexual interactions.
Mm,
And the only way that I was able to kind of not watch porn in that time was knowing that, um, I would see her at least once a week,
mm.
and knowing that at that time when I see her, we're gonna have
Hot
better sex
sex.
if I abstain from porn.
Right.
And also there was this accountability that she would
Mm.
be like, I hope you've been saving yourself for me, because
Oddio, però sti non sto facile.
she had the desire for me to. She doesn't want me sharing my sexual energy on my own. She wants to be involved in that process,
Hey,
right? So it was like, don't go and do anything that you shouldn't be doing. Wait till
without her.
yeah, wait till I see. That's the only time
Ah,
when
ha
I
detto.
was like able to not participate in watching porn.
Right.
Without that accountability, ah, you know how many times I've tried.
Hey, bro, you're not the only one because I have. When you cry, and you know what happens after you masturbate, you feel guilty. I always will feel. Look at this filth. So this is what turns me on. This is the
Yeah,
shit that I'm leaving my social life for. It just made me feel even more squeamish about myself. I felt horrible about myself. And obviously, that background was coming from religion. So I just thought, wow, look, like, is God going to be happy with you? What if Jesus just came this very second and you've got tissues upon tissues and Vaseline on your bed? Is that I was even using Vaseline. I was using I was using powder, bro. Yeah? Is the
powder.
Bro, that thing is slippery, powder on the floor makes you slip faster.
Oh my goodness, this is new.
Ah, hey,
Jesus.
it's levels, man.
This is the kind of information that you know. Online that there'll be a guy that's like, yeah, there'll be some crime committed.
Yeah,
When the crime is solved, the police will detail how about everything about the
yeah.
crime, and that accidentally educates people on how to commit the crime.
Shit.
You're now educating guys. There's some bastard
I'm
that's
now
now
upgrading people.
Just make
bro.
sure I add powder to my shopping list.
Yeah,
Just make.
man, get
Uh,
that Johnson and Johnson perfume, man. Soaks up that extra juice.
oh my
Nah,
god.
bro. Do you know for how I would say since I was introduced to pornography, so that would be from the age of 13 up until now 33. That's been my cancer. I I haven't. If I went on even a 5 day no fap, is like I'm running home to like fucking
More withdrawal symptoms than a than a
fucking
heroin
hell,
addict.
bro. Like I'm tearing myself up, and it would be one after the other, one after the other. Oh my god! When I got my first laptop, my first Mac laptop, that's all that was on there, and I was like, "You spent a grand on a laptop just to watch X videos? Like, wow! Clap for yourself, mate."
This is the biggest problem young men face in today's
And
generation.
you know, right now it might not even be porn, but is the access to sex that they just have, and they're not even doing it rightly. We're gonna go into that with DJ Envy.
It is porn. It's porn. It's porn adjacent. Like I was working. I was working at my friend's home office. We were working together yesterday,
Right.
and he goes, "Oh God," like this, and I was like, "What?" And someone had sent. This is the same thing that happens to me. Someone has sent some link to a picture or sent a picture in one of his group
Yeah.
messages, and it was just a girl that was just so in shape. It just the shape, the angles, the proportions, the structure,
He's right on.
and it's too much, and it takes so much from us. Like we're in work
I
mode,
better go.
and we like wasted like 10, 15 minutes just be like, oh, I didn't need to see that, but I did want to see it, but I didn't want to see it.
That's right. That's
So
right.
then,
Bubble
that's
clot.
the kind of thing that will trigger the desire to now go and watch porn,
That's it.
you know, at your next available opportunity.
To be
On top of
fair,
that,
yeah. Go
you
on.
get such a dopamine release when you watch porn. You're basically having sex, right?
There you
And
go.
you're having sex with as many different varieties of, like, they've studied the way guys watch porn,
Yep.
and we're probably all guilty of it.
Yep.
They're looking at 10, 15, 20, 100, 200, 300 different images,
That's right.
um, all in one sexual release.
That's right.
And then the next time they're looking for a whole new set.
That's
It's
right.
a bottomless pit. Whereas, sort of, just a generation ago, you'd probably only ever seen like the average man's probably ever seen 3 or 4 women naked
There you
ever.
go. Yeah.
Like we're not ready to deal with that kind of exposure.
Supernova stimuli.
Oh my god, it's
Bro,
so bad for us.
the tribulations I've been through because of that, is and it's like, okay, I promise this the last one. This is the last one. I'm gonna go to bed, or I'm gonna go and do something else, or I promise I'll do this and then I'll go and read that book or finish this assignment. And the minute I go to the bathroom to clean myself up, I'm back to my laptop.
Oh,
I'm back there, and I'm like, but I wonder what this looks like. Oh, and you know how they also put in sequence where you see the next one right below, which is like even better than the scene you were just
yeah,
watching.
they're using psychology.
And then you're like, let me just see what's going on. What, this actress? And bro, that is how my day would just go, and rubbish. I would just feel like rubbish. But I'll still want to do the real thing when I go out. I still want to get, girls and all that. And nothing. 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 And these are the guys, and I'll also put myself in that train. These are the guys that go to the club like the guy that got aired, massively aired, yeah, in your initial story, what you just told us initially.
Right.
Girls can tell you sleep on your mom's couch. They can tell. They can tell a guy who is about his life, who is about his goals, who is moving in a different way.
So I have a question.
Right.
Maybe not a question, observations. Okay, so I thought the thing of semen retention,
Yeah.
what it does is it now that you've had the release, you now don't have the desire to go. So when you approach a woman, like to go out and find a woman,
Yeah.
be attracted, do all the wooing, and you know, for some guys it's harder than others, but it's definitely harder than watching porn
Yeah.
if you get a genuine release from a woman,
Of course.
especially if you're not already in a relationship. So, be it Tinder, be it talking to a girl in a bar, being it getting to know her, being whatever the situation is, finally sort of saying it, getting to
Bomba
the point where
clot.
she's willing
These
to
guys are
come back to your
spitting
house, and
That's
then
it.
TJ
go
and
through the whole,
Campbell.
there's a whole sort
Resident
of
blood clot.
ritual,
Live
and
on
that requires
YouTube. Y'all have
energy
to check them
and
out.
resources and going through several rejections, because for every one girl you hit, there's probably 20 girls that rejected you, right?
Yeah.
So you can just masturbate and then you
Feel better about
don't.
yourself. Yeah.
So semen retention, so it's ruining, they say it's ruining, young people's ability to go out and mate and find, because the desire is not there,
One
the
hundred
energy's been
percent.
sapped.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't as much with the idea that sort of a woman can see or feel energetically that you've sort of masturbated or whatever. You've let your sexual whatever go. Um, because at the end of the day, if Anthony Joshua is in the room,
Yeah.
um, she's on it, regardless of what he's done.
So yeah.
It would be way more powerful if I think it would be way more impactful if someone like Anthony Joshua, like a man at the pinnacle of like the one of the world's most desired bachelors,
Yeah.
if that guy like just masturbated and then didn't go out, that's the impact I would imagine lack of semen retention would do. Whereas
Right.
if he had semen retention, he'd be like, right, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna meet someone. Do you see my point?
I get your point, but there is also another thing about these athletes, about high performing people, that kind of feels like their secret to their success. This feels like what they've been doing, and they're trying to sell you the 9.99 book, the watch my next course, or click the button down below to find out more. This is it. It's all centered around sexual energy, semen retention, and sexual transmutation. So athletes, that it's well known, Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, David Hay, they all practice some form of semen retention. David Hay was even doing something like 6 weeks before every fight. So
Mm.
it's like it's a norm when you are in a high performing industry that requires a certain level of performance. If Anthony Joshua walked here, he wouldn't just be, because it's Anthony Joshua or whatever. I believe Anthony Joshua must have gone through his dark ages, quote unquote. And now he's been crewed on this, and then concentration levels, muscle tone, and all these things have just gone skyrocket up. And then he can
Mm.
walk into a room and every girl can feel it that this guy is gonna tear my pum pum up. Every girl can feel that.
Mhm.
So these people, they, a Grand Cordon, let's say, or and it's not even about the looks, because we picked Anthony Joshua because of, I don't know, his height, looks, and etc. But you even have someone like Mark Zuckerberg. I don't know, someone like Tim Cook, someone like the late Steve Jobs. These people were massive on semen retention, and these guys can take your girl any day. They'll do it.
Mm.
So it's that one thing that I think is part of the shortcuts. We're gonna talk about fasting, we're gonna talk about cold showers, we're gonna talk about all these things, but I feel like this is the massive thing that is gonna give everybody down below a shortcut to self-realization, because it's the one thing that is being depleted I mean, sex is selling crazy nowadays, bro. It has always done so, but nowadays it's so accessible, like you said in our previous episodes. It's on your smartphone. You need to, like, do you understand what's on Twitter? Bro, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's so bad. I think, if let's say that all of the energetic stuff, all of the, from the crown down the spine, all of this stuff. Let's say that I just reject all of that. Let's
Right,
say, listen, Campbell, this is tinfoil hat. I don't believe you. It's not scientific. All of this is nonsense.
right.
If all you take away is building the ability to be disciplined enough to fast from super sexual stimuli,
Yeah,
your life will be better.
it's 100%.
Life will be better.
100%.
Relationships, your drive, just like on every, and then what is then so I mean, I'm talking from a very skeptical perspective
Right.
here. And then let's just say that even a fraction of, it's not out of the realm of possibility that then, I'm talking about from a sort of self-development position,
Yeah.
but then now from an internal health biological position,
Yeah.
it's probably beneficial, if without any research. It's also probably beneficial
That's it. Yeah.
to not to be doing something in non-excess that is requiring your body to push out life.
Force. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
The problem is every guy masturbates, and how do we control this?
Ah.
Every guy, like, I mean, if you tell, like, I've met guys that are like, no, I don't masturbate. That is, to me, I just now don't trust you as a person, because the chances of that being true, I mean, I'm sure there's guys that, married guys, that maybe they get what they need from their partner, and
Oh, even them, bro.
like,
Jare.
I'm telling you, like, Twitter is full of just guys getting caught masturbating while they're driving. You can
That's.
find whole Reddits on just stuff like that.
I know. Yeah.
So, like, I'm on the same page as you, Campbell. I
Yeah.
agree. Like, we should be performing some kind of semen retention. I think there's probably a protocol, like the 30 days thing, but I think there's probably also cause to release as well.
So the body is an intelligent organism. It does its own thing. If it needs to, get rid of the excess, which is very hard, it does, because all the excess still goes back into the body to nourish the body, to nourish the tissues, the blood, the bones, the fatty tissues, the organs, the bone marrow, and then eventually, so you're never wasting it. Eventually what happens is you build up so much desire, so much lust, and you're just putting it in one direction, sex. Of course you're gonna have a wet dream. Of course you're gonna, go out there and you're hard and you're doing some nastiness and so forth. But this fluid is our life force and it's always nourishing our body to the nth degree. It's never gonna stop. So you see, that's why you have places like the seminary where priests will go to learn how to control their semen. So what would they do? Pray every day, learn about the word of God. It was called the seminary, the school that teaches you how to hold these desires. And let's put that to one side because now it's turned into to pedophilia and some nastiness. But like this is, I think, step one seriously towards self-actualization.
So understanding, sorry, step one to self-actualization
Yes,
is is practicing some level of semen retention.
some level of so the word that is common to all these practices, so semen retention, fasting, cold showers, or even some sort of martial arts, they're called cognitive challenges. So you
Right.
are actively telling your body to find different neural pathways other than the same, pleasures and etc., to literally increase, to survive, to become more intelligent. Because
Yeah.
all the brain needs to do is, look, we need to get to a point where we can duplicate ourselves. So if this is not happening, if you're retaining pleasure, you're retaining food, or all these things from the brain, the brain is kind of, okay, how do we find a way? It's within us to try and find a way to self-actualization. We're born with this innate need to get to the top. So the brain will, boom, I need to find a way to get to this. Okay, then it now builds. We've got billions and billions of neural pathways that we're not even using. We're just limited to three: eat, sleep, and work, and then maybe fuck if you're lucky, or watch porn. So,
Mm.
like, limiting the brain to just this, you understand? You're just producing sheeps and cows, sheeps and cows. You stand out just by being able to embrace one of these things.
I have one tiny thing to add here.
Please do.
I remember there was a podcast that I listened to where there was a guy who fell in, he became a massive sperm donor. Why?
Okay.
He was 6'3".
Right.
He was Jewish.
Right.
He had been headhunted by these sperm donor company, some sperm donor company,
Right.
and basically when people only have the option for IVF and sperm donors and all of this,
Yeah.
there is a marketplace where there's agents that will find you the genetic requirements that you would want for your child. And he happened to be at the top of the list type of demographic that people were searching for,
Okay.
to the point where he could earn quite a tidy living from, um, he'd have these agents and they would call him
Yeah.
and say, right, we need a batch. And what he said was that um, a batch is no good if unless you haven't ejaculated for at least 3 days.
Okay.
So the benefits of semen retention probably start at 3 days. So in three, if you also go to give sperm at a sperm bank,
Right.
they'll ask you when was the last time you ejaculated, and if it's in a span of a day or two, they turn you away.
Right.
So this I don't know what I think. There's sperm morphology, sperm mobility, sperm, all the M's to
Yeah.
sperm,
Yeah.
they are at their maximum once you go 3 days or not. So the highest quality of sperm is produced
To 3 days.
um,
From three
three
days
days,
on.
3 days on. So
Right. Right. Right.
semen retention from 3 days already begins some type of positive uh, effect.
Right. Yeah.
Then
It would make sense. Yeah. Sperm
you said
count.
7 days,
Yeah.
and then you said,
Yeah.
then trying to push on to 30.
30, 60, and it's even crazy because I was listening to this audio book, and it's talking about the semen retention miracle, and he was talking about a full cycle of regeneration, right? This is scientifically a full cycle of regeneration of the semen, the spermatozoa, when they get to their full growth and they're fully mature, and with all the properties that are allocated to them. This occurs only after 90 days. So he was he's even listening to him like 3 months. Hey, I'll burn
So,
up.
so, so after 30 days, 90 days then even becomes a new level of milestone.
It's just oozing out of your ears. You got purple balls or something. Is gonna be, I don't know, you're gonna be levitating or something like that. But this is what he is proposing, but he's saying to start with baby steps. So the first phase would be 30 days where you would have a lot of fallbacks, a lot of withdrawals, but to carry on, to keep strong, because the next set is easier. 60 days
What,
is easier, and then you go to your 90
Campbell,
days.
what month are we in right now?
So this is for the Muslims, this is the month of Ramadan. For the secular world, this is April. This is the fourth month of the year.
I live in London.
Right.
It is now April. We've had a cold winter.
Mate.
And the first sprinkles of sunshine and warmth
That's right.
have hit the city.
That's right.
I cannot even, I don't need Twitter or my laptop
There you go.
to be presented with, uh, what do we call it?
Supernormal
Stimuli.
stimuli.
Supernormal stimuli. I went to work out today in the park this morning. Come and see the body shape
Yes.
and tracksuit fitted girl.
Winter goodness.
This girl was like they know what they do when they leave the house when
Of
they're
course.
dressed in this
Of
way.
course, bro.
They're showing all this stuff, and they want to invoke a reaction from you. They want to get a look. They want to be in a position to get. They get. You see, remember when I said before, of the opposite of men's obsession with sex and porn
Right.
is for a woman is attention,
Mm.
to be getting liked and to get, they don't even necessarily want when a guy approaches, they're ready to reject, they're ready to air. It's not about getting the guy per se, it's about getting the attention, and then they can decide what to do with it after.
There you go. Yeah.
And the attention that a girl, it must be so tempting. If I could go out and just buy the type of shirt that I wear,
Yeah.
leave my house and come back with 10 approaches from women,
Hmm.
like, oh my God, I just think you just look so cool, kid. Like, imagine that every day. That's some girl's life.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then if you shut, I know there's a lot of stuff about creepy guys approaching. Yeah, okay. The day that a guy stops approaching and you become invisible to men
She's gonna,
is
yeah.
the painful day for a
That's it.
woman,
That's it.
especially if she's been hot and guys are just crumbling at their feet their whole life from
That's it.
13, 14 to 20, 30 guys. So the temptations for girls to contribute to the lustful temptation of men. Ah, how do we last?
It's a
How do we last?
currency, bro. Attention is currency.
We have to join the French Legionnaires.
I think that's even worse, mate. Soldiers get a free pass.
Ah,
Bro, this is willpower, man. Shango energy, willpower. It needs to come from the heart. You need
I
to,
don't think I don't think willpower. I don't think willpower. Like remember when we were discussing workout discipline before?
yeah,
Like I know that willpower is not enough. You have to set up your life so that working out is as convenient and as enjoyable as possible, and you give yourself the least chance to renege on your like. But in this world, how do you get away? Like, if I don't see women and sexual stuff, I have a much better chance. I'm not. I used to be on Instagram just being fed booty pics all day long.
oh my god, I love the pauses in between your experiences.
And I quit Instagram during lockdown. It was the best thing ever. It was the best thing in my life
I
ever.
hear that. I hear that, bro. I
So
hear that.
if I could live in a non-sexualized world,
Right.
and have kind of and I could control that. But the
Right.
problem is that even when you're super controlled, whatever, you could just be watching athletics,
Yeah. Yeah. And this, yeah,
and
girls
the
butt.
girls are I've been doing a thing on my YouTube feed. There's one female athlete that I think is just really nice. I made the mistake of clicking on a video that was basically showing her in her athletic stuff.
Right.
She's a long jumper. So when you do the long jump, you land in the sandpit. You're probably gonna get some unflattering angles that men would
Enjoy.
watch.
Right.
So this YouTube video had sort of compiled all of the most right. So
Yeah.
I'm a weak flesh sometimes, So I clicked on it and I watched in awe and horrification at the same time.
Uh,
Right, my YouTube feed has not stopped feeding me
all
a
of that.
new channel. You can click on a video and say don't. I'm not interested in this channel.
Yeah. This ad is
I do that.
irrelevant.
So whenever I see a thumbnail with a girl that's athletic, and I know the thumbnail. I know the thumbnail. Right?
That's it.
If the video has nothing to do with athletics, I have clicked not interested in this channel, but more, I would say 50 channels. So a new channel comes every time. The algorithm is trying to feed you. So I clicked on once or twice one of these videos,
Right.
and since then I've banned, blocked 50 channels that show me the same kind of content.
Right.
Avoiding sexual content is a full-time job.
It is. It is.
Impossible. I just don't think willpower cuts it. You need I think maybe you need a good woman
Huh. I
and
think
accountability.
you know what worked for me when I
You have the answers.
I don't even think I have the answers that work for me.
Don't hold out on us, bro. We need the tea. We need the We need the sauce.
Mate, I have what works for me, and basically what worked for me was, bro, I was tired of being a loser because every time I would do this, I just felt like I've given in to something that's stronger than me, and I just couldn't believe what I don't have. I'm a slave to this shit, and I hate being a slave, bro. I really, really hate being a slave. I just felt like this thing, is pulling me around, pushes me around, tells me what to do, tells me which women to like. It was
Yeah,
just too much for me, man. I just reached a
yeah.
limit. I reached a limit,
Heroin addicts don't want to be on heroin.
bro. Honestly, I reached a limit, and I said, you know what? The only way I can get out of this is if I understand exactly what goes on in my brain every time I see two pairs of tits and an ass. I want to know exactly what I want to know, and obviously this went down into like survival. Your body is ready to mate. Your body is engineered to
Oh yeah.
reproduce once it sees these symbols. So the nipple is a very strong, the circle and the dot. It's a very strong symbol, and it's instinctive from very little. Kids are not taught where the nipple is, what to do with it. They know that's survival, that's food, that's where it is. And so I had to break down scientifically and biologically what goes on in my brain when I see these things. Once I started doing that, I wasn't seeing porn stars and things to masturbate with. I was seeing human beings, but I'm telling you, this was over 20 years, bro. It's just now that I'm sharing with the wider community that, mate, I've been able to survive. And when I did my 9 months, that was when I was proper like, look, I wasn't going out. I just said, I want to fix me. I just want to heal from this addiction. I had a Bayesian girlfriend back then, and what happened, this is a very funny story. And by the way, Bajans have an obsession, Caribbeans basically have an obsession with carnival. Okay, so I gave her my laptop one because her laptop was out of use or something. So I gave her my laptop and she opened Twitter, and there was all sorts of blue movie, everything you can think about on Twitter on my timeline. So she literally came back to me and she was like, "You are sick." I didn't understand what went on. I was just looking at her like, "What's going on?" We had planned to move in together. We had seen the place we were gonna stay and everything. She just came through the
Really?
laptop,
She said you're sick.
bro. But I was, when we talk about supernormal stimuli, when you move from hardcore to more hardcore, and most people are not like that. Most people, they stop at soft core.
No, that's I don't agree with that.
Well,
You go from you start watching X and
you go to triple
porn.
X.
It becomes not enough, and then you go harder and you go harder. I think
Right.
that's everyone's journey of porn.
Well, my standard back then was just, it was too much for her. So she brought back my laptop and she ended it. She was like, "Look, this can't go on." So I was so
Ended the
confused because,
relationship.
mate, that was it. She literally said that you're too sick. You need to eat. Like, it's too much. I was into B.
How old was she?
She was about my age, yeah. So this is like a couple years back. She must have been on her 26, 27, yeah, of age, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. TJ, oh, that was, I was like, what? This is just,
Oh,
I,
she's not for you, man. She's not for you because I think that I would like to hope
yeah,
that I can. I've spoken to every girl I've seen
right,
the last five, I don't know, girls I've had seriously, and I've said, this is something I can't control.
Right.
Like this is like the only thing in my life I cannot control. I
Right.
can't switch it off. It's the thing that I have the hardest time with.
Right.
The, you know, and I didn't know in the beginning, um, like I sort of said it with trepidation in the
Yeah.
beginning, and there's still a level of trepidation. Like it's not like I'm proud of this thing, but by like the last couple of girls I've been with,
Right.
it's like you need to be able to tell your girl what you struggle with, man. And sh I think women don't know. I think women just have, let me not say women,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
many women
Yeah.
do not
Understand or
know.
empathize.
And the way I would describe it is women would say that men just don't understand what it's like when a girl is on their period or when
Same.
the hormonal drives and changes and stuff that they experience when they're on their period or when they're pregnant.
100.
And a guy can never say, I get that, I understand that, right?
100.
And it's understood. It's understood by everyone. Like this is like really hard
Yep.
so um guys give women a pass like in those circumstances, and
Yep.
women can always throw that card on the table.
Yep. Yep. You don't know what it means to have your menstrual cycle. Yep. Yep. So
Right.
basically, she dumped me
This is
there
the
and there, bro.
reverse.
Huh.
Like
Bro.
women do not understand what it's like waking up in the morning with your body ready, telling you, "Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me, we need sex now, please, now, please." It doesn't matter who, it doesn't matter where.
That's it.
Like, did that girl just show her leg,
I,
her ankle? Like, I, Louis C.K. has a joke where he's like, there'll be like a couple of girls walking
right.
in front, a couple of women walking in front, and he'll speed up. He as if the girls are gonna stop and be like, "Oh, hello, random weird guy.
Yeah.
Like we just noticed that you were walking a little bit closer to us. So like, can we just like give you some head just right now?"
That's his
Like
fantasy.
in your mind, you're not necessarily thinking of the head or whatever, but you're just drawn to women. Like I
That's
just
it.
and women just don't get that about men. They don't, or some do, but the majority is like, I'm just under control because they've never experienced the level of drive that a man has to, fulfill his sexual desires,
That is
the
very true.
thirst.
Yeah.
So I've always just said to women, any girl I've met that I've got in a relationship with,
Yeah.
I've tried to make that point to them, and I've said, this is something I struggle with.
Yeah.
I either need your help, or at the very least, I need your understanding.
Yeah.
And if a girl is gonna call me sick, um, then she doesn't have
What
the
it takes to stay.
well, she doesn't have. She's not done the mental work to understand, and she's not. Um, I'm sort of losing how to what I want to say about what she isn't, but you know, the understanding, the empathy, the like, it's we would totally give a pass to a girl
If
in
she
what
had
I
a
think is
tantrum,
ridiculous,
yeah.
which is the menstrual cycle
Yeah.
and pregnancy. We
Yeah.
would be like, hey, I get this, but because it's sex and because it's stigmatized, um, you get called sick,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I just think that is lazy. thinking.
It is lazy thinking because well, she was insensitive and things went left from there. But essentially, she later, this was over the period of Christmas. So then after this incident, we had a 10 days where for me, it was basically 10 days trying to figure out what the fuck happened. Because I, in,
Well,
well,
she didn't even tell you that she saw the stuff in her
she,
thing.
no, she told me, but this is a soca queen. This is someone who wears a strip of leaf over her private parts to
Yeah,
carnival.
you're sick if you look.
Do you understand? So
I can work it in front of you, but you're
boom,
sick if you don't have self control.
there you go.
Get out of here, man.
I was so confused, and all I knew was I had planned my whole life. I had everything in check, and this girl just walked out of me. So I'm trying to pattern things up now. So she invites me over for Christmas, and I go over to hers. Da 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 da. Family's there. By the way, she's told her sister and her family everything. Yeah, so I obviously don't know, and I'm there, like Uche face. I'm just there, bro, and we're exchanging gifts. The family has bought me gifts. I went to buy her gifts, like usual, normal. So we're exchanging gifts. They bought me a copy of the King James Version, right? Signed by all three of them. Yeah, mother and two daughters, which I still have. And because she knew I was into mangas and into animes, she bought me a story of Jesus in manga. Bro, when I tell you that heartburn, yeah, my heartburn was on heart attack level. I wanted to die. This is impossible, man. How can you treat a human being like this? So they were obviously looking at me like, do you like your gifts? You know, that kind of expression.
So they were
And
shaming you with the gift.
bro, oh, that was so humiliating. And I said, you know what? I would never go through this again. And that's when I knew, yeah, I had to do something about this. I think that was the lesson, or the actual incident that made me turn, the turning point for me. It was just too much for me to bear, that shame that these women, this mom that, and if I have to even go down and break it down, her sister was a stripper. She signed up to a strip club to work in a strip club, in a gentleman's club in central London. The girl that was dating was a soca queen, so she spends £200. I'm saying this with a lot of resentment, but I've forgiven everyone. I'm over this.
I
But
have now taken on your resentment. I am
bro,
resentment.
I was heartbroken, and her mom, who has a Malian boyfriend and everything, they were just looking at me like, yeah, you need Jesus. I just stood up and I said, you know what? I have things to do. I went home. I just threw myself on my bed and I was like, God, that hurt, man. That really, really, really hurt. And I said, no, I need to figure this out. I bought a few books on it. That's when I started going deep into reading.
You cancelled your talcum powder subscription.
Subscription. I had to get rid of it. Bro, I logged out of my Twitter account. I literally crossed. I went cold turkey for like a week or so. And because I just couldn't bear it. I was like, nah. How many more people can find? This is shameful. People will find out this, and I look sweet and all good, and this boy is looking at scat. He's looking at feet.
This is not shameful.
Hey,
We have to be careful how we label this, because I refuse to apologize
right.
for my biological, involuntary, reptilian brain desires Like, you know what it's like when you're hungry
Yeah.
for
Survival.
food.
Yeah.
This reproduction thing, like, women have a limited amount of eggs that they're born with, and that's it. Meanwhile, in men, there is millions and millions of sperm constantly being produced, trying to figure out when is parachute time. When, like,
Yeah.
the time to go now.
That's it.
How about now?
Ready to
How about
go.
and then like this is how humanity has survived. Like, male and female is a hedge for life,
That's it.
for the existence of life.
That's it.
It's not a coincidence that life split into two as an evolutionary strategy for survival.
That's it.
Most animals, most living things will have a male and a female strategy, evolutionary strategy
That's
for
it.
survival.
Yeah.
And if we were in a village of 100 people,
Mm-hmm.
and all the men who die earlier than women in general, or go out to war, if only one man survived, all of those women could be repopulated,
Yeah.
and life could go on. It doesn't work the other way.
That's it.
And when women have sex, oxytocin. Do you know what oxytocin does?
Yeah. Creates bonds.
Creates an emotional attachment. I think you're the guy that educated me on that. So our approaches to sex are completely different. And if we have to place the morality of sex around the female experience of sex,
Yeah.
then my standard protocols, biological protocols for sex, will always be demonized.
That's it.
And I refuse to allow it to be demonized.
Well,
I don't have a problem because I desire so much sex. I just have a problem like someone that's obese
yeah.
has a problem with burgers.
Yeah. Yeah.
The fact that they're hungry is not the problem.
That's true.
There's other issues around food that they need to deal with. But the problem is not that they're sexually their appetite sick. So I don't like calling this thing you're sick. I think it's
I get the point, but I had to do something about it. It had been very, very long. This had been going on.
Feel like you were sick.
Look, I accepted the whatever was said then, because I knew that something had to be done before it got out of hand, because it had got to a time where TJ, I would even be driving and I'll be watching it. I just put it on. I'm bored. I'm having a long drive. I'll just I'm a delivery driver. I'll just put it on. I'm bored. I'm just watch it. In between stops, I'll just put it on.
I guess. Okay. I guess my points I'm conflating, because I guess you could call this sickness,
bro.
But I have to separate that with
the biological need to reproduce.
Yeah, that's a separate point.
Yeah. It was getting
in excess. Anything in excess is not healthy.
It's a sexual dysfunction. That's it.
Right.
It was getting out of hand, and I knew I had to do something about it, but I didn't have the willpower. Shame works the same way. If it's a deterrent. It makes you feel so bad about something that happened that you stop doing it. That's why we shame. We do the walk of shame. We take people to court, take people to prison. Kids are shamed if they do something wrong, etc. It's a deterrent. So for me, that was a turning point, because this was soaking up so much of my life, and I when you just have brain fogs for days.
So it's actually impacted your relationship.
It did.
That's also a big blow.
It did. 100%. It did. But
That's like if you're on heroin and your girl's like, I can't do this anymore. You're spending all the money on
There
it.
you go. Yeah.
But,
I'm putting resources in this, and yeah, I had to find an exit. And for me, that was the turning point. I went straight into the books. I went into Terry Crews, and he talked about his addiction to sex, to massage parlors, and all this kind of stuff. I had to start breaking it down, bro, and that's when I was introduced for the first time to sexual transmutation by Napoleon Hill in his book Think and Grow Rich. But it meant nothing to me. It was just, yeah, sexual transmutation. So what? I need to stop doing it? I can't. I would never be able to stop doing it.
right.
And same thing. It was an upstream battle. I would literally cry metaphorically because I couldn't find a way out. I'll find myself going back to it, or I'll just watch it. I'm not going to touch myself, and then I feel this build up that it's like you're burning from within. Oh yeah, it's just once, and I had to take it step by step until I finally found in, I would say, around 2020, so just about the pandemic. There's a lot of time. I can look into stuff, read books, and that's when I found it completely. Semen retention, no fap. Because I was consuming so much porn during the pandemic that, it will even flag up on my, you
Hold
know,
on.
on my timeline. And
Finding semen retention and then having the ability to do it. Like, what? How were you able to do it? Like, what happened?
because I just knew, look, I've tried everything. I've tried, not having a PC. I would go out, do it on my phone. I've tried everything. Everything, tried repenting from it. I wanted a way out. It's like I was more resolute to finding a way out than staying in. And semen retention meant that it was another extreme option. I kind of like extreme things, so like going cold turkey, doing this, doing that. But I need to know why I'm doing this. It's not just I'm doing it because there's a big man upstairs looking at me, and if I do this he's going to strike me. It's that is not plausible for me. I need something that I know can help me attain what I want in this lifetime. And that was the top of the pyramid, self-actualization. I want to matter to myself. I want to complete my task here on earth.
Mhm.
And yeah, semen retention just slapped on right spot on just when I needed it. And this was it, give or take. you know that's it. And I
So
was like,
you felt determined.
I knew this had to be, and I've had fallbacks. Don't get me wrong. I've here and there. I'll do my retention, and it needs to be. It goes in correlation with other practices, because you need to develop so much discipline within yourself and so much resolution within yourself that it's going to benefit you in the long run. So this is all long term, delayed gratification, all long term stuff. I knew I had done this stuff before when I was going through grief. I knew I could do it. So I was like, look, I'm going to do this for myself. I'm going to make sure I do this for me. And yeah, the beginning is hard. You're trying to concentrate, but it's even harder when you're in now I'm in a relationship. So you have duties, because if
Yeah.
you do,
How do you approach it being in a relationship?
so there's a thing called dry orgasm, right? And this is attained by, for some reason, I don't know. I must have been born that way, but I just love controlling my muscles. Every muscle that I know I can control, I'll try to control it. I can move my ears when I want to. I just like doing that stuff. So to attain dry orgasm, you need to be able to control your Kegel muscles,
Yes.
and you need to exercise them at least 3 times a day for at least 15 minutes. Just contracting and releasing and having deep breaths in between. This just enables you during penetration, during that friction in and out, to be able to control that desire. And because now the build up of sperms is like, yeah, this is it, one more stroke and we're coming out, and you need to be able to hold them back with this, with your muscles, with that part of your, like when you're holding back urine.
Okay, so now I'm also curious.
That's it.
I've heard that there is a level of orgasm that you can achieve
Yeah.
by, being able to hold yourself back at the point of ejaculation,
Yeah.
and then you continue, and then you hold yourself back, and you continue, and then there's some type of
Abego.
next level orgasm that can be achieved. This sort of like goes through your whole body. Have you experienced this?
I'm not going to deceive you, and I'm not going to show off on the podcast. I'm not sure if I've achieved that, but I have felt something similar.
Okay, the orgasm. So the dry orgasms. Do you achieve that?
Yes.
What you describe as dry. Okay, is
Yeah.
that orgasm as satisfying as if you had a full release?
No, it's not. It's not, but it compensates a lot because one, there is a serotonin release. So basically, when your body is ready to reproduce, it builds up this force from inside you and is ready to go. When you stop this, there's a feeling of goal completion. All right, I was able to hold it back. So now your goal has changed from nutting into holding the nut.
Listen,
Do you,
that that
that TJ, that's it. That's what you need to trick your brain, bro. I had to. Do you understand the
there is
genjutsu?
no trick in that moment. Uh-uh. Your body, everything is telling you to let it go, and if you don't let it go, that's like that's like a girl saying stop
Abego.
before you've
She's had her
completely.
orgasm.
Even just see it in another way. Like, have you like been peeing and then you've had to stop in the middle of peeing?
But that's the exercise. That's exactly what they recommend. You need
Yeah, but
to.
that cannot be good for like that's not good.
Well, then you don't want it bad enough because I
Oh
mean,
my god.
I really I reached the wall. I hit the wall and I was like, you know what, I don't want to go down this path. I really want to. I don't want to be a slave to this because it reached a point where I knew I wouldn't be able to even be faithful to one woman if I was in a relationship. It would
Why
take,
wouldn't you be able to be faithful?
because if I was able to sniff sex and get away with it, I would do it. I had no self control over my desire, and it was
Mm.
all leaking into reproduction. It wasn't going into getting money, getting fit physically, obtaining knowledge, or being self actualized. It was just going into gal, 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 pum, pum.
Right. So we have a task here.
That's it.
We have a Campbell. You have a duty.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna rely on you for this heavily. You need to attain this. You need to attain this high level of orgasm that I've heard about. I'm gonna send you some links
Please send them over.
because I've you know I've heard that it's possible to enjoy sex more without releasing if you get this thing. I've heard guys talking about coming without coming. I've heard about this sort of tantric release.
Look,
The-
I'm not gonna, we're doing this for the sake of enlightenment and we're trying to get self-actualized. So I'm not going to deceive anyone and try to show off, bravado and, be all braggadocious.
no, but you. It seems like you're halfway there.
The thing is, I want to master myself to the point where I can be me. I can have the fullest expression of myself. And I know this is the one stone that I keep stumbling on.
Mm.
So I'm like, okay, what do I have? Where do I sign up? What do I have to do? And it's like I'm getting closer and closer. And as these things are getting, clearer to me, I'm seeing that other aspects of my life are opening up. I mean, I had such a mental fog, and even
Mm.
my thoughts were so spread all over the place. I couldn't be coherent. I will make a conversation, and people are like, "What did you just say?" And I realized, yeah, it's because I'm just
Uh,
treating my thoughts like my seed.
I have another personal question.
Please,
Once watched a YouTube video.
right,
The YouTube video said, if you want your girl to crave you sexually and desire you and initiate sex and be all over you,
right,
do this. Have sex with her, but don't come.
right,
And next day, have sex with her and don't come. And
right,
just keep doing it. And then it's like the, she doesn't get the, she's like, what? I need you to do that. Like,
right,
I need to know that I evoke this life birthing moment, this orgasm in
yeah,
you as my partner.
yeah,
So if you're not if you're not um coming, and you don't have to answer this,
yeah.
does your partner A, has she changed her, has it had an effect on her desire for sex with you, etc.? And B, has it caused any issues in the relationship? Also, as C, um, do you always practice this, or like, is it like, every now and then yes, every now and then no?
So
nígbà tí o bá gbọ́ nípa
that's a good question. Now, I'm gonna answer all of them because I think this is the journey we're on. We need to we need to seriously tackle this issue. And the truth is, there is an increase in attraction, and there has been an increase in attraction from her side. I will confirm that, to the point where I'm even like, I'm on this journey, right? Why are you forcing it like that? You should be in my corner. You should
Right.
ration this out. But it's like discipline creates a level of interest. Those I'll say Shaolin monks that are doing these incredible feats. Like they would train their bodies to extreme levels where they can break bricks with their palms or something like that. This is all discipline. There's something about discipline that just attracts our humankind, right? And I think this is what is going on. Self-control to the point where it becomes alluring. And it's like from the feminine side it becomes a tug of war. Can I break it? Can I penetrate through that wall of discipline that he's got? So
Like, this is a power that I've always had, that now I can't, like,
right,
You know, a woman kind of knows they can get to a man with
Boom.
sex.
There you
Not
go.
not that, not that they're gonna always manipulate. Some women do, some women don't. But
Right.
it's in the back pocket
Yeah.
now.
Bomba Clat!
Even that is
These guys are
off the
spilling all the
the one
beans.
reliable
TJ
thing
and Campbell,
is off the table when
interest into
he's
blood
doing
clots,
this.
That's it.
live
Yeah.
on YouTube.
So I
Yes,
found that
Team
yeah, that
Moms.
that has gone on the rise. That has increased
But
exponentially.
has
Yep.
that bolstered your, like? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. I mean, I've reached the point where
bolster your ego.
I understand this works. This and don't get me wrong, I have done this before subconsciously, but then when I was getting this attention, I would be like, "Oh, just leave me alone. I'm not interested. I'm not," because I was going through grief. So I was uninterested in contact with women in general. It was just, this is time for me to grieve. I'm just on my own. So and I realized I was getting a lot of like touchy touchy. Oh my god, Campbell. Oh, when are you coming for dinner? Let's go. It's like, what? Come on, get out of my face. And I was even celibate then. I was not going out with no girl, nothing. So it's something that works. Women can look. I'm categorizing here, and please forgive me if I'm doing this, but I think they can smell it. And like we just saw, there's a buildup of testosterone and phosphorus. Phosphorus has the ability to retain light. If you are glowing under that light, mate, you're attracting darkness. If you know what I mean. Bro, it works, man. It really, really works. But coming back to your question and to my relationship, it has kind of made me feel more confident that look, I can satisfy and fulfill my duties as a man, and I can also pursue the road of self actualization without you know forfeiting either one. It's like, right, I feel good about myself right now because I'm on a journey and I feel like I've got all my tools set. I'm not missing my charger, I'm not missing my cable, I'm not missing anything. I've got everything. Boom. I'm enjoying this. I choose who to serve, kind of, if that makes sense.
So this is the definition of empowerment.
That's it.
So you felt empowered,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is a benefit of discipline of all kinds,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Uh, but this is might be particularly special because
Bomba
this is the
Clat!
area where most men would say that they have their weakest,
Very
you know,
true.
like it's the weakest,
I think,
there's only
yeah.
so much a man can take.
I
Do you know
think,
what I mean?
yeah, man. I think this is the very basic. Like then it goes into, these are all survival. This is the strongest survival impulse, the need for sex, and we can find all of this at the bottom of Maslow's pyramid of needs. So if you're able to bypass that level, man, is you're on to the next spot and on to the next one and on to the next one, because these are the things that keep us in a perpetual loop. Your need for sex, your need for food, your need for water, shelter, and sleep. And what do these Shaolin monks, these fakirs, these gurus, priests, that's the first, they go on these long fasts, they go on these long semen retentions, they go on this long deprivation of sensorial things, because they're like, there's a level to this. There's a different level, there's a level upwards. And being so much in touch with these things, you know, takes the attention off the goal, self actualization. This is what I found, and And for me, semen retention, I'm sharing it with my bros here at Agbarapa, is life changing.
I think this is what we actually should have started with in our discussion because um I think it's hit home to me now
Right.
what it could mean. Um, Again, we we can put all of the esoteric, spiritual, you know, that no one can call any pseudoscience on you for the last sort of 10 minutes of what you've been describing in your relationship.
Right.
You can't, you know, I could see the strength in I could see the strength it will garner
Yeah.
in saying to your girl who's known you, who knows you probably as a sexual fiend,
Yeah.
as the guy that's been lost relationships based on your sexual addictions.
Yep.
It's like I'm in control of this now, and how would that not be so? It's like forbidden fruit for your partner. Too much.
That's it.
And that bolsters your strength, that bolsters your and then as you win, the more you do it, the more you're like, I'm in control of this, I'm mastering this. This thing's like the chain is not around my neck anymore.
That's it.
Um, I'm going to put my mind towards pushing for things I want in my life.
Yeah.
Um, if you can achieve discipline here, the chances are you can achieve discipline in any facet of your life.
That's it.
So it's definitely going to have a knock-on effect that may be a predictor of success in all kinds of ways. And yeah, I like the idea of like that sexual discipline. Um, but God knows, man, it is not an easy
Oh, bro, it's
right.
not nothing. This is the task. This is not. It hasn't been for me, but once you do it, it becomes. How many things have we? I mean, when I started learning how to code, I had no clue what was going on, bro. This was this was so out of my comfort zone in anything I've ever seen. I was clueless. But you do it once, you do it twice, you repeat it, you repeat, you repeat, you repeat. Now I know what var is.
Mm.
I know what constant is. I know what let is. I know what function is. I know what loop is. Is how bad do we want this? And for me, that has been the question always. Am I going to give myself excuses, or am I going to try harder? Find a way. Sorry, that's my cat just doing her own thing.
All right.
Yeah, I just that's what I really felt within me, and the turning point for me was that shameful event over Christmas. If that never happened, I could be talking to you right now and be scrolling down porn
Mm.
because yeah, I haven't been sourced out. I don't feel it's a bad enough attitude to correct. So yeah, who cares? I'll do it eventually. But that event literally taught me, nah, man, this needs to go. Or at least you need to have this under control. To the point where I've realized when I'm, with other guys, maybe younger than me, and we approach a really good looking girl, and I can see she's extremely beautiful. She's provocative, she has it all. But within me, there's a discipline that aligns, my character, my needs.
You're not approaching her with a
Exactly.
thirsty, begging tongue.
I can be professional. I can stick to my discipline, and and I can feel the difference.
So let's just bring this full circle.
Let's go on.
You you were discussing about never getting aired. I think there's always a chance that you get aired. You know, the girl might be totally not interested in you. She might be married. She might be whatever. But um, you give yourself way more of a fighting chance if you've mastered sexual discipline. Number one.
That's it.
And number two, um, the chances are that you kind of have this inner confidence that the discipline of this that sexual discipline has brought to you,
That's it.
that she may pick up on that, and even if she does air you, it wouldn't bother you, it wouldn't be devastating in a way, you know, you're in control of yourself.
That's it.
It's just this is a situation, okay, it is what it is. Even if maybe you got nuclear rejected.
That's it. That's what it
So
is.
I think that's the secret for all of this. Um, I think that's the main message of this, and that's really, yeah, like we have to pay attention to this.
That's
Um,
yeah. That's very very true.
I'm jealous. I'm jealous. I'm jealous.
Ah, bro.
I don't know how I could attain, this sort of level of discipline. I've tried.
It's a journey. It's a journey. You've just lost confidence in yourself, like I did at some point. I didn't trust myself to be able to do it.
I've gone through periods where I've, um, you know, like, yeah, no, I'm gonna try and be disciplined,
Yeah.
and I'll be disciplined for a period of time, maybe even up to 30 days
Right.
in the past. But man,
The
yeah,
you run back to it like.
the devil rears its ugly head. So I think I don't know. I guess I would just any techniques to. I think it's like losing weight or whatever. You have to
Yeah.
decide for yourself.
That's
You
it.
know, you're gonna really take it seriously.
That's it.
Um, I
It
think you have to not be so condemning of yourself if you
that
maybe mess
is
up.
I think that is the most important thing I came across. It's forgiving myself when I stumble, because I had this habit of when I stumble, well, that's it, it's not for me, I can't do it. You see? That's the proof. No good. But it was a kid doesn't stop trying to walk when it falls the 10th time, the 20th time, the 100th. It just knows, yeah, I'm gonna stand back up and do it again.
Okay. Now
That's what worked for me.
we were going to discuss DJ Envy, but
We're gonna take a short break before we do that.
well, do we want to maybe save? We've been talking for a minute. We've done it again.
So we're going
In
to
what?
go
How long
through.
have we been talking?
It's been 2 hours. That's a good. That's that's a good one. All right. So I just wanted to show one last slide. I just thought it was interesting to pop that in. I spoke to my mentor, and I asked her, for some hints on this that I was gonna. And I like to go on my African spirituality.
Hold on, Campbell. You have an Orisha mentor?
I would say the more someone I look up to teach me what I don't know. So
About Orisha or about just life in general?
she's an Ifa priestess.
I would love to know. Sorry to bring you on a side note.
No worry.
What is the belief of the Orishas of the origins of um, humanity on this planet. I'd love to know their origin story, their Adam and Eve story.
Uh,
Because
so
well,
so this is when we talk about orishas. These are forces of nature.
yes,
That's what they fundamentally are. So now, when when we talk about creation, these are all metaphors that they would have to put together, but that's not actually, it's not like they're saying Shango beat his drums, and they're talking about elements of nature that came together to create life. So we're not talking about Adam and Eve story. The Adam and Eve story is for, the one that maybe is not as steadfast, as dedicated to understanding the actual elements of,
no, but
creation.
it's not reasonable to think that an Orisha has um, a a story of how we came about.
There are many stories. There are infinite stories about how we came about, but they're always not talking about, what we think they're talking about. Is a story within a story. It's kind of a code, if we can think
Okay.
of it in biblical terms.
Well, okay, I'm with you.
Yeah,
This is a tangent. This is a tangent. Let's go to
right.
your.
We might have to revisit it some other time.
Yeah. Tell us about your slide again.
Right. So I just wanted to show this off, and this is another good explanation as we're going. We're trying to make it more as African as possible because we're at Agbarapa. Yeah, and each Orisha is connected to a certain organ or a body function, in the human body. So this was just, she just told me to look up this, and she shared it with me, and I thought it would be interesting to share that the Orisha connected to, to the hormones, the one of beauty is Oshun. Oshun is the Orisha of beauty, right? So it's just interesting how sex, beauty, we talked about Pompagira. Oshun is an aspect of Pompagira. These things can all go for the positive or for the negative. So Pompagira will be the negative inclination within us. So that lustful desire for sex, and Oshun will be the positive inclination. So love, beauty, and
You
etc.
know what? I think what you're saying is right there, but I think lust might not be the right term to use there
Right,
because you need lust. You want to lust after your partner. You want to enjoy the lust. That's part of sex. It's more this sort of idea that you would use sex to manipulate others
right.
and sort of. I think that's the spirit of the Pompagira.
So the
Garner the power of sex
right,
for
the
you
the
know
word I kind of found crucial was passion, passion and lust.
yeah,
They kind of similar, and denote the same intensity, but you're not lustful about getting money. You're passionate about getting money, or you're passionate about, cars.
right.
It feels like lust is something that might or has the potential to damage you eventually, because it has control over you, whereas you have control of your passions,
You
kind
know,
of.
I recently heard something
Right.
that could start a whole new tangent on this kind
Ooh,
of
you need to tell
idea.
us.
Well, it's the idea. It's one of the seven hermetic principles.
Okay.
So the idea is that, um, like hot and cold,
Yeah.
or let's say love and hate
The same
are,
thing.
are opposites.
All right.
But actually, if it if it was on a scale,
Yeah.
like so, on the complete left of the scale is love,
Yeah.
and the complete right is hate, right?
Right.
Um, and then you like drew a line in the middle.
Yeah.
So just one point to the right of the line you draw in the middle on the
Right.
scale, 1 point to the left. It's not absolute, right? It's not like the more you go towards the hate side, it would get stronger
To
on a
yeah.
scale.
Yes.
So let's say the middle point is 0.
You're right.
Then the right hand side would be hate. And then go back to the middle point, which is 0. And the left hand side would be love.
Right.
So just one side of 0, like level 1, is you wouldn't call that hate.
Right.
Like even though it's on the side of hate, or the other side, you wouldn't call it love. So the idea is, where does love become hate? Where does hate become love? If they're polar opposites, shouldn't it be like a switch? Like it's either love or hate.
That's interesting.
So the idea is that love and hate are actually the same emotion, but interpreted. Like what you feel is the
Yeah.
same thing, but it's interpreted in these kind of two ways. And
Right.
you could be in love with someone, but hate only is only it's not only, but hate is often born out of someone you've let close enough to
Yep.
love to harm you.
That's right.
Like I don't feel betrayed when some
Someone that it
girl
doesn't.
I
Yeah.
know sleeps with someone else
So
because I
true.
have no connection with them.
So
I don't
true.
love them in any way.
Yeah.
But when I'm in love with a girl and I give my everything to her, and then she sleeps with someone else,
Yeah.
that's where the opportunity for hate really comes. So it's this idea that like these emotions are the same.
Yeah.
Often these nervousness and excitement. It's the
Right.
same thing, but it's how you interpret. Like
Yeah.
I'm about to go to the finals of this tournament, the World Cup. I can feel excited about that. I can feel nervous about that. And
Right.
they say that like the winners, the guys that rise to the occasion, they interpret all nervous energy as excitement.
Excitement.
And interpret all nervous energy as nerves, like a negative thing. So I think that so we were just discussing lust
And lust and passion and love.
and love. So like like when you want to exact that lust,
Yeah.
you want to direct it to the right person.
That's true.
Like if you're in a relationship, I want to lust after my partner.
Mm.
I want to have that drive like that. Yes, I want to like tear it up. And I think they want that from me and vice versa.
Right.
Is that not lust? It's just that sometimes it's a problem if you're lusting after every woman that you pass in the street. You're giving that to the wrong. You're using it in the wrong way, and then it's like, oh, this, you're. It's like energy.
It gets out of hand.
Yeah. Which is what we've been discussing this whole podcast. Like, watching porn is, you have this desire in you. It's not there because it's like some defect.
That's right. That's
You need
right.
that desire. You want that desire. You want to use it correctly. But you just like come out of balance with it or out of discipline with it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So
must be passion. Wouldn't you say that you want to be passionate with your partner and lustful with your partner?
I would say to stay with what I have learned and applying what I've learned, I would confirm that yeah, it's more a passion that I have. So the drive will be love, but then love in a passionate way. I want to consume this love passionately, not lustfully.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, this thing called love, how are we gonna do it tonight? Fast, slow, wet, dry, wicked, bad. That's the passion I want to put into it. I have gone down the path of lust, so maybe introducing toys, porn, even during intercourse, and it's always had a drawback on me. It's like I'm more into this than that. I'm not able to. Everything should help me to be more into whatever I'm doing. Should empower me, if that's the right word. When it takes away maybe my attention from yeah, then I kind of see that as maybe that's lustful. That was there's something there that doesn't vibrate. It's not resonate. You need our previous episode on resonance, frequencies, vibrations, and energy. There's something off, and I'm forcing it. Yeah,
Mm, mm, mm.
that's
Yeah.
what has been crucial for me.
Okay.
But anyway, for those who've watched and who've enjoyed this, please share. Make sure you bring in your partners and your friends into this
We're gonna have to
discussion.
we're gonna have to discuss DJ Envy another day.
We'll have to do TJ and the other day because it's all about, basically his wife went through 10 years without an orgasm. 10 years, bro. Had kids with him 10 years. And anyway, this is all for the next episode.
All kinds of negative connotations that can be discussed in great detail.
Oh,
That's really bad. It's really bad.
it's true. This has been a pleasing plum pleasure from Campbell.
From TJ.
And we are out. Have a good night, guys.